Good morning, Gabriella. It's afternoon here, but I know it's early morning for you.
Good
And
morning, Sue.
thanks for coming on. This is a lovely opportunity to add another Tapas recording to our Viva event lead-in. And we're just thrilled again that you're going to be with us in Spain. And really, it's a sort of follow-on to the launch of the Spanish introduction to the principles in Spain. So that element adds, a lot of excitement to us. And then the fact we've got you in the English room, so to speak, is extra exciting. So anyway, of me and how I think. So in the series, we've been asking our lovely speakers a couple of questions. So the first question I'm going to put to you is, could you talk about a major change that you've seen stroke experienced since you've come across the principles? And I know in your case that you've got a long history of experience with the principles, but if you can pinpoint one, that would be great.
Yeah, and I have to say, well, good morning, and I am so excited to be going over and sharing time with you. It was such a lovely event, so I'm really looking forward to being together with everyone. There is one thing that I think, there's one insight, there's one feeling actually that's happened. And the feeling is relief. It's been from the beginning that I just got this hit of, thank God I don't have to worry about being broken. Thank God I don't have to worry about protecting myself, from life. Thank God I'm not going to break. Thank God I, like every other human being, has a sense of resilience. So understanding how we function as human beings just has allowed me to feel ease in my life. And joy, so I think those are the words that came to my mind right away. I was just so relieved to find out that there was something inside of us that couldn't be damaged, that there was this beautiful and powerful energy of life and intelligence of life, and that I was that in action. And I'm telling you, for me, I think that was a huge shift. It was a huge shift. It is a huge shift. I think it's very alive for me. It's been very alive. Because I was under the misunderstanding that life could break me, as all of us experience these hard knocks in life, or these situations that are complex and feel so difficult. I thought that every time that I had experienced something hurtful, that there was a little part of me that was tearing or breaking or damaging or something. And I thought that part that I was feeling as if it was being broken was my soul. Right? Because in the moment when things are happening, it just sort of feels that way. It can feel so intense. Hurt brought to you by consciousness, right? It just sort of feels alive. And so realizing that I did not have to worry about my resilience. I did not have to worry about my soul. I did not have to worry about my capacity to make it through. That there was something larger and in me that was taking care of that part of my life. It just was wonderful. It felt like at the end of the day, when you take shoes that are too tight or boots that are too tight, and you finally can breathe fully. And as a result of that, as a result of realizing resilience and, this capacity to be well no matter what. It freed me to enjoy life and to have a sense of playfulness, right? Because I didn't have to put so much energy into that aspect. So I think it's a wonderful gift. It's a wonderful gift to have the opportunity to feel relaxed in life. And again, this playfulness of course, I still get moments of hurt, right? Of course. It just feels lighter. Life doesn't feel as heavy. And I love that I can experience joy. And I love that I don't know exactly what's going to come down the pipe. But regardless, that I will walk through it, maybe with discomfort, maybe with pain, right? Maybe with stress at times. But that there's something more central to me that has seen me through, that sees me through, and that will see me through. So that's really been a beautiful gift for me.
I love the way that you kind of encapsulated that. And those words, which we kind of fling around, we had a lot of fun last week. That was last week, and we had that fun because of X, Y, and Z. And just to know that, well, X, Y, and Z can be wonderful fun, of course, but that's not where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. And I love that sense of, the greater than me, or something's got my back, or there's something, as you say, more central. There's a foundation that it's not just dependent upon me, and I don't have to work all the strings and or pull all the strings and do it all so that my life works. It's pretty much the opposite to that. We play our part, of course, as you say, and it's not the elixir to, living in joy every moment, but just knowing that where that comes from makes every moment a new possibility that's not going to break you. Mm-hmm. So I just so relate to what you say. So it's in our language, the straw that breaks the camel's back. Well, I survived this, I survived that, I got through that, but you know what? There's nothing left of me. That kind of feeling, I'm depleted, and it's not pleasant. And the opposite is true. That resilience is fresh in this moment.
Yes, I think that when you said the word depleted, actually, that's the word that I was thinking about, because that's exactly how I felt. I felt, okay, I get, 100 ounces of resilience, and I've gone through, 89. We only have 11, so we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just remarkable. It was remarkable. And, along these lines, just even the idea that I don't have to work even on my grounding for this to be, right? And actually that's pretty new for me. That's been I've seen it before, but it's just sort of so alive. This idea that, I used to think I have to work on my grounding. I have to see things deeper, right? But I've just realized over and over again that the principles that we're talking about are not principles of practice, right? We don't practice them. And that whether I see something clearly or not, that they still exist. So I was under the misunderstanding that I had limited amount of bounce back, limited amount of flexibility, limited amount of capacity to heal. And, I started understanding better how I function. And there has been moments in my life where I've thought, well, I have to choose different so I don't experience whatever I don't want to experience. So it's been wonderful to realize that because we're talking about the laws of human behavior, right? And because these laws are spiritual, they exist whether I am aware of it or not. They just happen. Like, I cannot help but to be resilient. It's helpful to understand thought, right? Of course, it's helpful to understand thought. It is helpful to understand consciousness. Absolutely. I'm grateful to understand what I understand. And also, it's helpful to understand that this works in the world, whether I understand it or not, right? That I have this capacity to have insight, whether I understand it or not, that I have a capacity to realize that it's my thinking. You know, and even prior to the principles, I think all of us have had the experience of saying, you know, I just have to drop that, or, well, that's just my opinion, or, I cannot take this too seriously, right? Like, we've all had that because we're talking about how it works. So I love that. I love that I don't have to work at it. You know, I don't have to work at making it work better because it works perfectly. So I love that. I think that's been, you know, something that I see, then I don't see, something that I see, then I don't see.
So if you were looking at what's freshest for you, is that what you're saying, that
Yes.
part of this process of, it feels like things come to the surface. We've been digging for years, and actually you just don't have to dig, because left alone, things come to the surface. So it's not tiring, it's not exhausting. Something will appear, and you can't say which day. But if you have that sense of that, that's bringing the day to you, kind of thing. So is that what you're right now? That feels really fresh and opening up more and more.
Yeah, that feels just really. I think I see it and I don't. I see it and I don't. And right now, you know, it just feels so clear at the moment, right? That, oh, look at thought. I got confused again. I thought it was real again. I thought I had to let it go again, not realizing that it is just an illusion that has a limited shelf life, right? And it's just something, I think, because we're so used to doing. You know, we are in the form and we do things, right? We get up and we make breakfast and, you know, we do stuff. And we've transferred that way of thinking, that methodology of form, to the formless.
Absolutely.
And so I try to do. And it blows my mind how I don't have to, and I can't do anything about how these laws work, because they work, you know, they just work. So I think that goes back to, wow, I am 100% taken care of all the time. 100%. And this capacity that we have to think is what brings me joy. Right? This capacity that I have to think is mind in action. And then, of course, understanding the principle of thought allows me to see how I get distracted with the form of what I'm thinking. But I love that we are 100% taken care of.
That's a beautiful note, I think, to end on, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
What a thought that is, and what a truth the truth that is. And if we glimpse that truth, the capacity for healing and for a new life in this moment, and that nothing needs to change, which that's a remarkable part of it. And I would describe kind of a journey with their principles, but as soon as I say that, that's because I made it a journey, because I thought I did still have some work to do. And when you said about deepening your grounding, I was a really good student of deepening my grounding, and actually having taken my hands off the wheel, or whatever you think you're steering with, has proved to be revelationary. It's like, oh, I'm off the hook. Just being off the hook. That's nice. So,
yeah, I think it's because, again, we get distracted with the paradigm of doing in our lives, right? Because we have to do. We do. And we take that, which works well in the world of doing, to this formless world, and then it kind of gets confusing.
What I anticipate, Viva, because that's something I can actually have an experience of before it's even here, through thinking about it. What I love is that the feeling for us when we were working together, creating it, was that something was going to be there that preceded all of us, and that was the thing that pre-exists. And if I am understanding you correctly, that you've been referring to, it's we will all show up and we will be who we are, but there is that great feeling of, and there is more behind us, and that's the thing that is the connecting factor, really, because that solid, that formless truth is before all of the differences and all of the individualities and all of that. And I think to celebrate that's a wonderful thing. When we can't see it, we won't see it when we're like, oh, look, there it is, look, it's behind you. But at the same time, that's this feeling that so strongly comes across to me, and that we wanted to create a space and a place where we could, not actively, but just feel that together. And we just do it naturally. And I think as we listen to each other, and I think we've got 18 people now who can be sharing and conversing in groups, and we're going to have some panels. So there's going to be some lovely moments, and the whole thing's one big lovely moment.
Yeah, I think last year there was one moment. I was very sick last year, and
I
was very sick. But there was one moment where I was in somebody's session. There was a question, and then this person responded beautifully, and very ordinary. It was a very common sense, ordinary response, right? And I was so appreciative of that. And let me see if I can say this. I was just so appreciative of that, surprised by the simplicity. And what I love about Viva, the feeling of Viva for me as a participant, is that I think of it as an opportunity to get together and recognize the many forms that mind takes, right? It's like, oh, look, there is, Sue talking, or Sheila talking, or whoever's talking. And I just love the sense of appreciation that I get. And there, I also get a resonance, kind of like an instrument in a symphony, right? As people are talking, there is something in my soul that resonates, that, I don't know, how do you say it? Resonance?
Resonates.
Resonates, thank you. That resonates. So I just love that. I love the collegial sound of the principles that we get to experience in beautiful Spain. So
Yeah, beautiful Spain. Yes,
so
we just got our sort of winter clothes out of the cupboards here, and I'm looking forward to not quite putting away some of the cooler clothes, because fingers crossed we'll be enjoying sunshine in November, and I think that's a big treat. It's a big bonus. So thank you very much for giving up some time again. I know you've been giving up lots of time working on with the team, the Spanish team, and really, really look forward to seeing you.
yeah,
I'll put up details on the screen so that people who are watching, and thank you to people who are watching and finding out in this series who our lovely speakers are, and reconnecting or meeting someone for the first time. So I'll put that up and bid you farewell and thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon then. Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.